we're going to talk to you about a little bit about hospitality. Kishu connects guests, hosts, and the community by providing local goods and experiences. My name is Payal, and I grew up in a family business that was rooted in hotel management. And I also come from an Indian background where hospitality is a priority. That's taught me that personal touches actually make a huge difference in creating a wonderful experience for someone's stay. Led me to a career in service design where I learned that strengthening the relationships between a service provider and the customer creates meaningful experiences.
My name is Justin, and I've spent 15 years in software. And what software has taught me, and in all different roles, what software has really taught me is that there is more to life than looking at a cell phone. In fact, you see that and all the evidence of that in Instagram and all these other things where people are taking images of real experiences. And so what I'm really interested in this team and what this team really brings is bridging the gap between true physical experiences and what you may find in a digital experience.
And I'm Anne, and my career in marketing has really taught me how to tell stories. And in this time, I've told stories about brands and companies, individuals, and what this product, Kishu, allows us to do is really connect the dots for people through stories.
And I'm Amy, and I have design experience over 10 years. And I'm from originally from Turkey. When I first decided to move out here, I was really excited to meet new people and get new experiences and inspired by the place. But at the same time, I was looking for something that would feel like at home. And I'm pretty sure everybody is going to another place or say a country that with more people that can how to sound. That's why I'm really excited about Kishu, because we're trying to bring the warm welcome, next view, these beautiful place, and get to situated in a place that familiar place that can feel welcome. And Chip Conley, head of hospitality at Airbnb, also tells Airbnb hosts to be seen. So you actually get 5 minutes to influence your guests and make them feel like they belong to your house. And that's what we're exactly trying to do with Kishu. Kishu comes in a form of a welcome package that you wrap when you encounter right away when you walk to your house, to your stay. And it has the local stories and experiences that will make you feel connected to the places, your host, and as well as your local businesses that you like about the experience. And then we connect, we deliver you a platform that will allow you to take this experience beyond your stay and the platforms into your platform.
So what better way to impress your guests in 5 seconds than by giving a gift? The Kishu package instantly makes guests feel welcomed. Inside the Kishu package, there are items sourced locally for businesses in the local community. There's a map that highlights a 3-mile radius. There's a star card that also features a local business. And there is a personal note that the host leaves for the guests, as acting as an access point into the home.
But there is a digital experience as well. And the digital experience is also where the host gets to customize what's out there and how the guest finds those hidden treasures. A big finding of ours was that lots of hosts are doing similar things all over the place. It's pretty disparate, but they want to provide something, a guide to the house, maybe a guide to their neighborhood. This is how they do it. Via the Kishu welcome package, they'll have a code that unlocks what's in that house and maybe the guide to that house. That same key, however, unlocks the hidden treasures in their neighborhood, the little things that guest may never find if all they're reading are those published guidebooks.
And what this does is really provide a lay of the land for people visiting. And it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's really a make-your-own adventure, where you're able to pick out individual places and really connect the dots for yourself. But you're given a wayfinding and a way to access in and to really connect with the place in a more meaningful way.
And your stay doesn't just stop there. We're going to be creating a platform for you to interact, connect with your communities, and we'll be providing a thank you card for guests to also connect with their hosts and many other platforms to create this platform for communities and guests and hosts and beyond.
The Kishu experience doesn't end with the guest. It actually loops back to the host. This is done through the ratings and the reviews. On home sharing platforms like Airbnb, ratings are actually an inflated currency. And so the Kishu experience actually ensures that the host will receive a high rating. Now let's take a look at how the Kishu influences that rating. Here's Matt's home. Now Matt's home isn't like any generic stay. It's actually a unique place. It's a unique place because Matt has added his personal touches. It's comfortable and welcoming. A part of that welcome is through a package that he so thoughtfully left behind for the guest. That package led the guest into a local business around the corner, introducing them not only to the neighborhood, but to that local community. Overall, the experience was delightful and enjoyable. The guest came away with a memorable experience and left behind a 5-star rating.
So this is our initial market. The initial market is really focused on Airbnb and other home sharing platforms like VRBO and HomeAway. You look beyond that though, and there's an entire ecosystem of hotels, and there's actually 6 million rooms in the United States. And then if you go one level out, there is a $160 billion hospitality industry that we have access to, but it's really not where we start. We're really starting with the little nugget that is the home sharing platform, which gives us access directly to hosting us. And then look at our initial scaling. And we are starting, again, with Airbnb and other home sharing platforms like VRBO and HomeAway. But we see the opportunity to expand into corporate gifting and corporate recruiting as our next step because we are specialists in customization and host customizations. And corporations are another form of hosting in that way. And then really expanding out from there into hotel and really reinventing the minibar within the hospitality industry. And a quick look at our partners. These are both partners as well as people that give us access to users. And so the Bold Italian and Psycho Mosey are really all about wayfinding outside of where we live. So using them as well as other bloggers and influencers will give us access and information in those other communities. Airbnb is a partner, potential partner. They may also be a competitor depending on what they develop. And then there's some cleaners. So the cleaners are a way to get access to the house beyond self-delivery to the host in case the host does not live in the local area. A quick look at competitors. There isn't anyone else doing exactly what we're doing, so these are competitors in the gift or box space. So it's much more of a box gifting rather than a direct competition.
How do we do this? How do we get in front of all these users? And what does a really simplified business model look like? What you're seeing here is a five-year plan. Estimating in that 5 years and looking at what's already out there on home sharing platforms, for instance, and really not looking at the other platforms and the growth of those platforms. There's about 1.6 million check-ins. In other words, that's not just 1.6 million guests. That's 1.6 million guests actually checking into one of these home sharing platforms. With a product mix, which I'll show you in a moment, at about an $18 price point, the host will be buying a welcome package for each one of those guests. Finally, that leads us to where we think we'll be in five years. We will be at $28 million in 5 years. Here's what those packages look like. First and foremost, we have something called the Kishu Welcome Package. This is the simplest of packages. At a price of $12.50 and COGS of about $4. What this package really is, 3 simple small items. It's Kishu branded up front. It's a very simple welcome package that anyone could buy. You don't have to be on a home sharing platform. Anyone could go anytime, one-time purchase on the website or an app and purchase this welcome package. However, as you see the values ramping up, the value really ramps up for everyone to something we're calling Kishu plus one time. Kishu plus one time is where you start to see those keys involved, the way to customize all this stuff. So the Kishu plus one time is a little bit bigger package. It's still 3 items, but it's 3 seasonal items. They're a little bit larger. Maybe they provide a different experience. But this is now where the experience is also customized to the host. This is the host's customized box. That customization comes in the form of digital experience, where they can provide their guide, where they can provide a local guide via our app, via our website. And you'll see there at $20, and it's also this is a one-time purchase, $20, and it's about a $5.50 cost in that. Where the real value for everyone is, especially the host, but also for Kishu and where the stickiness is found, is something we're calling Kishu plus reoccurring. And the reoccurring comes in that as part of a subscription, we can actually connect directly to the calendars, their Airbnb calendars of the host, or the VRBO calendars of the host. This is something we've already tested and found to be valid. We can connect to their calendars. What that means is every single time a guest actually books a stay with a host, we can capture that, thereby ordering a package, delivering that package on time. When they sign up with the reoccurring, it doesn't mean they have to pay $30, $40, $50 in subscription every month and just see 2 packages. All it means is every time there's a guest, we will automatically order that package for them. The guest will see that, and the host actually doesn't have to do anything more than sit back and wait for their guests to be welcome. So here's our ask. Here's what we know to be true. We know that we can get to all of these users. That's not a question. We have to take some steps to get to those users. The steps we need to take, we need to see in a couple of years, we need to see 500,000 users. With 500,000 users in 2 years, and the development efforts that we need to take on, as well as the COGS and some of the facilities that we'll need to rent, for $2.5 million, we can get in front of those 500,000 users, and we can ramp that up to $28 million in 5. For Kishu, thank you very much. Let's now get questions.
What I want to point out is really kind of a simple and silly thing, but I thought it was well done. Your placement on the stage. It looked like a form. It looked like a composition. You guys were kind of angled back. You were in the front. You were in the back. And then when you started to talk, you shift position. So it was almost like a
Flock of birds.
not movement. Like
Flock of seagulls.
birds moving very precisely. There was precision to it. It didn't look haphazard. So I think everybody should think about that. Like, like you would take the stage, you stand exactly in that spot, and then you move to this spot, and you go to this spot. Think through all that choreography in the presentation, so you don't look like you're just floating and drifting around the stage. Right? So well done. I think you could spend a lot of time kind of talking about the need and like your background and why you're doing this, and I think you could have got to the product, at least the product proposition or the service proposition a little quicker, like establish that you're. I think it's not only about welcome, it's also about like helping people discover the places they're at. So that welcome plus discovery piece, which is, I think, is really enticing. Like, ooh, that's why I travel, right? I travel to go explore a place. And you're just not only telling me that, hey, you're welcome, but you're also saying, here, we're going to help you explore.
Yeah.
Right? So that's sort of your bigger value proposition. That's great. Also, I wanted to know precisely what is the deal with Airbnb? That just seems to be a prime partner. And you mentioned like they may do something competitive, and that's on like scary. So what's going on with that?
So they are trying to become an end-to-end hospitality provider, but what that means in terms of physical goods left remains to be seen. They don't have any, they aren't doing it currently, but they are definitely using language in the last month in particular to become an end-to-end provider, and that's been something that's kind of new since we started this project. then there becomes, what does the OBO need to do? When do you need to, what do all these other platforms need to do to up their game as well? So that's where it's a potential partner, but it also could be a competitor. depending on who it is.
It's a really good question too, because I think even in our team, we've sort of played, should we play them up front as we're doing this for Airbnb, or should we play them as part of an ecosystem of home sharing platforms? And I guess it's a question, you guys, do we ride their coattails? Do we ride that river, one single river? Or do we say there's home sharing platforms, Airbnb is the biggest, but there's a bunch of others that are nipping at their heels, and we can provide it for everyone, we can provide it. It's hard to, I guess I would ask you, what's the thing that's going to resonate?
Well, without a deal, I prefer the latter.
Yeah.
You know, I think you need to be
Yeah.
agnostic about, you need to be agnostic about your platforms. You know, the thing that's missing for me here, I mean, I love the way you present it, I love what you've developed, I love the branding, I mean, you know, the whole thing, you know, you got a distinctive color. I mean, actually, as part of your composition, just having a box with a splash, you know, it's all gray, but you got this splash of orange, so, you know, it's a nice presentation, or it's a nice vignette. You know, it feels a little bit like something where you should have a story about, you know, a bunch of guys on bicycles that have already delivered 10,000 of these around San Francisco. Sort of some aspect of the story that says, you know, this is already happening, and now what you're asking for is the way to take it national, take it global. You know, because it just, it feels a little static. I mean, it feels like something where you ought to be farther along with the delivery side of it. You should be like bursting out of your garage and trying to raise the money to hire a warehouse and Dogpatch.
Right.
Yeah, I think you need to be thinking about like how fast can we get our operations pulled together, right? Because if you can beat Airbnb to this, then you can then compete with Airbnb, because if they beat you to it, you're going to go home, unless you do it really poorly.
Which they might.
Which they might. Or then they say like, well, let's just bring those guys in after we hire them or whatever to run our operation.
Right.
Because they've got it figured out.
Right.
And so you have to show us how much you've got all this figured out. We've talked about who are the suppliers of these goods. Can you name them? Is there, you know, how are you going to then bring that to a central packing warehouse? You know, how does the full clarity around that this is just not a concept, it's real.
But that's not even, I mean, that's a problem as they scale. But they can deliver 1,000 of these a week out of Justin's garage, right? And deliver them on Swedish baked beans bikes, you know, and so.
But that means that they've done 100 calls to get this product.
Yeah.
They do contract with a printer, and you know how that works.
Yeah.
You've got files, you know, that assumes you've got assets and you figured out sort of level of the operation.
So, I mean, I think what's nice, you have talked and you have brands on board, but it's, as well as like packaging, like talked about the custom box, because the box molding is really a handful, you need it to be custom, easily takeable. So we've gotten those milestones. Is this a forum for that, or is this a place where you say, we've done this, and this is, that's all important to the cause. So that's where the cause is built from, or actually reaching out to those people.
But I think that part of your credibility building in this presentation, the presentation for next month, is to really celebrate what you've accomplished, because what it does is it gives people confidence. You know, hey, these are guys I want to support because look how much they've done on a shoestring. Look how much they've accomplished with nothing. And now if we actually give them some resources, you know, boy, this is just going to explode, you know, based on where they are right now.
I think that's common for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, be transparent about what you've accomplished, right? And then, okay, they haven't got very far yet. Now I can figure out how I can help. But if everybody kind of presents this sort of veil of like, we've got interest, we've got, you know, cogs figured out, you know, it's hard to understand, grasp you, reality. What are you? Where are you? Make that clear. think Ashley's probably also saying you should probably distribute 1,000 of these next month.
I heard it say that.
Well, that is the run. That is the run for the custom folding. So perfect.
Yeah, it'll be easy for the folding part.
Well, I mean, if you have month-on-month trends already, if you have, you know,
Yeah.
250% month-on-month growth over the last 3 months,
That'll be easy to show.
you know, tell us, because that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Sure, I think so. I think you guys know this, but you're like annoyingly convincing, and you clearly have a great idea.
Just stop there.
So I think the final step is just to prove that you can execute, because I don't know, or prove how you're going to differentiate, but it seems like you have the cogs on other things, but I don't know. No one comment about Airbnb or thinking about that. It's like, how are you going to be able to compete with those players? Not execution.
Sure. Yeah,
That's great, but you can't.
Yeah.
Well,
And that goes back to the.
It's almost like when I look at your service offerings, I was saying to Bill, I don't know whether you've ever shopped health insurance plans, but your brandings have like the names of the different health insurance plans.
Yeah.
You know, the Gold Select,
Right.
you know, something around.
Why wouldn't you want to be the platinum?
Yeah, would you rather platinum?
So is any of the
Yeah.
value add to the tchotchkes in the box, is that exploited in any way anymore in your business model? Like test marketing products or
Yeah.
you know, driving traffic to the shops?
Yes. And it,
We didn't say that.
Yeah, I think that's important to like, you know, again, it's not, you're not selling the box, you're selling the service platform.
Yeah.
What are all the components of that service platform?
Yeah, that's where I think there are so many components to this. We also wanted to keep it really simple and focus more on the host and the guest, but that's that mobile platform, that's exactly what that is. In fact, when we now in a beta release the other day, a local closed accelerator, you know, we sort of talked this through and he's like, yeah, if you guys could come in with something, there would be no reason I wouldn't do this right now, which is get people in the shop, give them a little discount, they would be willing to do that, this would be the platform to do it on. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so it's there, it's not in that slide, but that's something we should put.
Yeah, I think, you know, like, you don't want to present like 1,000 different features, but,
Sure. The few that matter.
you know, that's a big aspect.
Sure.
B2B, you know, partner, retail shop, is
Yeah.
a big component that could scale this thing.
Big upset.
Yeah. So don't ignore, don't hide that.
Okay.
Yeah, especially in that moment, like, I think this object, like, an opportunity to create also a memory, something, I imagine, like, people can get this object and they put it like in a shape towel or other things that they can keep, like a souvenir, and they're like the memory of the place, like, all this information you already have here, it gives me a feeling that I will throw it away. So, how to think of the object as a memory of the experience, and also, how is this like,
So you would say, one of the something in our platform is that this does live on, that the experiences start living visually, right? So you get experiences through our digital platform. Are you saying to have a physical object too? That's sort of
this is not meant to be